Well, welcome everybody. We are sure excited to be back with you. I am Dean Nixon. This is lovely Kate Semmens out of TurningLeaf Health and Wellness in sunny St. George, Utah. And we, as a lot of you know, have been producing a lot of content for you to help you progress and learn and grow more and to be able to find answers and solutions in a very easy, helpful way. So today we're excited. We're going to jump into another topic
I love
today
it.
that we're both very passionate about as we
Mhm.
kind of ramp up our next level of and growth. Today, we're going to talk about authenticity and how and what's going on with authenticity in our world.
I love it. I love it. So, first, like just jumping into it, Dean, let's just create a common understanding of what we mean when we say the word authenticity, because I think that there's a lot of different definitions out there
Very true.
as far as what authenticity actually is. So when we say authenticity, let's just spitball here. When we say authenticity, what does that mean to you? What's your definition of it?
To me, authenticity is showing up without filters.
Mm.
A lot of
Oh,
times
it's a good one.
we show up with these expectations of how and who we're supposed to be, and a
Hmm.
lot of those filters or the filtration that we've had in our lives have come from experiences, hurts, pains, traumas, implied, uh, watching maybe somebody else get teased or mocked, and making that decision within ourselves. So we put a lot of these filters on ourselves so that we are exhibiting this large amount of energy to control what people see,
Hmm.
and to me that is not authentic.
Yeah, absolutely. I would just echo your definition. I love that you brought the filter in with that, those images and masks that we wear. For me, authenticity is just honestly showing up as you with none of the shoulds or the shouldn'ts,
Mm,
right? Like
yeah.
where we get really caught up in those two places. And it is in my experience and my opinion, my little humble opinion, which I've got lots of them. It is one of the bravest thing that I think people do
Yes.
is to show up authentically as themselves as often as we possibly can,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
we live in a really interesting time of the world with social media and editing and like I mean, go on filters. We could go on a filter rampage with Snapchat and the filters
And
that are
TikTok.
TikTok, and like they're getting really good,
Yeah.
like really good. And so it's difficult sometimes for us to be able to kind of discern and see with what is real and authentic
Hmm.
and what isn't. And so it's literally, once again, I'm just going to echo this in myself. I think so brave to show up in authenticity, to not put a filter on a video, to come as you are and just show up either online, right? Like this platform that we're using at the moment, or even just in your everyday world.
Right.
Really, what we're talking about is your everyday world because most people don't do this thing.
And that's where my concern is,
Mhm.
like, as you and I both know, like we spend a lot of time working with people on a regular basis, and as they come and they sit on my couch, whether it be the teens that I'm working with,
Mhm.
and I know you can echo it from your office as
Yes.
well, the teens that you're working with or the adults that we're working with, the problem that we're seeing and that I'm seeing the most right now, and you can echo it if you want, is this isolatory or isolation
Yes.
lifestyle that's being created as a result of it. People are afraid to be seen now. I can't put a filter on if I'm walking out in public. I can't
Mm.
control who photographs me when I'm out in
Mhm.
public. I can't control the way I'm seen or perceived if I'm out in public. And so there's a lot of that. The other area that I'm really seeing it show up is really in our youth, in the sense that a lot of our youth are living dual lives. There's a
Yes.
duality. And there's this one side where they're trying to show up very in their everyday world, very benign, very, very neutralized,
Mhm.
very, very neutral clothing, neutral affect, neutral opinion, very neutral. And then they have this secret life that they're creating in social media and online
Mhm.
that either gives them the ability to criticize or comment, or to show up in a different way that gives them some some expression. And that's where I'm starting to see the gap grow
Mm.
between the world we are living in and existing, the tangible, real reality world, and the perceived fantasy, electronic, video screen, as I always call it, and we call it the glass
Glass
window
window.
that you're looking through today. And so there's this tendency for us to struggle. And I know we're heading this way. We've been talking about it for years. We're headed this way. This is the new normal.
Hmm.
But also, what I'm seeing is a huge mental health crisis that keeps going. It's not slowing down. And a lot of that has to do with this fear of being perceived. And as you said, that there's not a lot of that willingness to show up in all venues as yourself. I think there's two reasons, in my opinion. I know I'm
Hmm.
doing a lot of
I
talking,
love
I
it. Oh, I love
apologize,
it. You do
but
great.
I think there's two reasons. One is that two things we can do, I should say. There's two things we can do. Number one is we can stop being so critical of others, and number two, we can stop being so critical of ourselves.
Amen.
And I think if we stopped with the criticism, a lot of people would feel more comfortable to be themselves, and you would feel more comfortable to be yourself.
Yeah. And I love that you like touched on the mental health issues that we're seeing and we're experiencing because of this trend, which it really is. It's a trend that we're experiencing, right? Um, and I think that there is a lot to be said about the cognitive dissonance that starts to happen inside of your mind when you aren't showing up in reality as you,
Right.
right? Like there's a transition period where you're not being your authentic self.
Right.
We know that, right? When I show up and I'm acting ways or saying things that are out of my nature and out of my norm, I know that I'm in self-betrayal, really.
Right.
But the period only lasts so long because as humans we're really good at evolving. We're good at going through change and creating the new normal, if you will, something that's now more comfortable than what we were going through. So eventually it just becomes the new reality, if you will, and that cognitive dissonance goes away. But then we have the mental health issues that are in as a result of that. Is
Right.
that making sense?
Oh yeah. And
Mm.
I think it's that clinging.
Mm.
We cling to an image, we
Mhm.
cling to a reality. And it's kind of like that idea of like the life is trying to move you into reality, and you're like that child being carried into, being put to bed, and you're grabbing at the door and the door jam as life tries to pull you into reality because you're trying to cling to this belief, this image. A lot of it is just fear. And
Mm.
that's where I challenge you to be really cognitive, as we're using cognitive a lot today. Be aware of how much your mental diet is impacting your fear.
Yes.
And I notice as I go through Instagram and I'm looking at reels, and it's such a fun thing to do. But I also notice as I go through it, there's a lot of fear-based stuff in there where when people are showing up authentic, they get made fun of,
Mm.
or they're making fun of, or making, the authentic person. And so then it creates a level of, ooh, that's funny because we're making fun of somebody, but I don't want them to make fun of me.
Mhm.
So I don't want to do that, or I don't want to look like that. So we become, what we don't realize is as we're watching it, it seems harmless, but the reality is we're becoming more and more hypersensitive because of it.
Mhm.
And that's where I'm not saying don't watch it. I'm just saying be aware,
Yeah.
right? I'm not
Mhm.
saying tune it out or turn it off. I mean, if you're doing it too much, please do. But if it's that piece that you're going to participate in, then become aware of where it's affecting you. Become aware of um, the fears that it's placing on you, and how it's
Mhm.
inhibiting you from moving forward. It's keeping you from in that space.
Yeah, I love that. what you're speaking about right now is reminding me, we just finished a level 4 seminar that we have, an empowerment seminar that we do with a group of 9 teenagers who went all the way through together. It was super fun, super
Through level
amazing.
1, 2, 3, and
Yeah,
4.
all the way through together. And this kind of call to action that Dean has just shouted out just had a little remembrance of that seminar and the process that you're talking of, that ability to just become more aware of what it is that you're bringing into yourself mentally, right, through our eyes, our ears, what we're watching, what we're reading, everything that we're doing that way, and seeing how it's influencing you and challenging that to see if that's actually in your authenticity or part of your filtration system, right?
Right.
That's the key there, is to be able to just be honest with yourself enough to look at it and see what results you're getting from it. And the piece that reminded me of the seminar was, we spoke with the kids a lot that weekend about, you've got 2 whole days to slow things down so you can actually start to see what's happening and see why you're doing what you're doing. We're in such a fast-paced world. Our world is so fast,
Oh, yeah.
and it's exciting. Like, it's a cool, awesome place to be, but it doesn't really it afford us the time to be ourselves, to like stop and look and reflect without extra energy expended to do that. It takes a lot of intention to do that. So, in echoing your challenge, that would be my couple challenged onto that. Not only seeing what you're doing as far as what you're, um, I don't know, eating, whatever we want to call it, right?
Consuming, yeah,
Consuming, thank
yeah.
you. Mentally, right? But slowing it down enough to be able to see what those results are, see if that is your authenticity. If it is, and the answer is yes, keep doing that. Be you, show up as you, be your authentic self. And if it's not, then it's a beautiful opportunity to take a look at that and see what you want to do with it.
Right.
No, there, like, please, I hope what you're hearing from us too, we are not here telling you what to do and applying shame or all the shoulds. Absolutely not. But there is great power, personal power, that comes with being able to look at something and say, oh, interesting. I do that because of that, and that's not really me.
Right.
And then choosing to be you.
Yes. Yeah, and I think you put it so well. And I think that's the best part is when you put it in that term of, is this authentic or is this a filter?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so simple.
Yep.
And I love that you tied that in there. And then the other thing I love that I want to grab a hold of real quick before we run out of time is, you talked about the fast pace.
Mm.
And we are in a faster paced world today. The thing that's intriguing to me is that this fast pace that we're in feels normal to us now because it's constantly there.
Right.
And it's like a raging river. And so the faster the river goes, now a lot of it's always interesting to me when I'm out east, or out in the Midwest, and I go by the rivers, and they're big and they're massive and they're wide, but they're slow.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of creep through. Where out west here, we have gravity, so our rivers are moving at a very quick pace. They may not be as big or as wide, but the volume is there.
Mm-hmm.
But they're doing it at such a fast pace. So it's where you are in life is what you become accustomed to. So where I was growing up, it was a very slow paced river. Things creeped along, life crept along. You didn't you bought something. It may take you 3 months to get something if you bought it via,
Mm.
it would take time, right?
And we would lose our minds with that today.
If somebody told you, yeah, Amazon, sorry, it's 3 months till we get that product to you, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to shop around. I'm going
Yeah.
to find somewhere faster.
I might actually walk into an actual store
Right.
to get it.
Yeah. And this is the funny part is, you'd walk into a store, you'd look at the floor model, and they'd say, we
And
can
you'd
have it
order
to you
it.
in 3 months. Nowadays people are unhappy. They walk in, they look at the floor model. If you don't get it, can't buy it right then, you'll go to a different store where you can get it right away. Now, I think there's a lot of benefits to that. And trust me, I'm one of those people. I want it now,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm the same way. I'm not saying that's a negative thing. I'm just saying that it's created a normal in our lives. And that normal fast pace has created this inability for us to, like you said, slow down. Be authentic. Find authenticity. What is authenticity for you?
Yeah.
And I think that's such a critical piece. But I know we
I
wound
love
out of
it.
time. But I hope you take our challenges, and please comment on our videos, share and like our videos. Please let us know how you're doing. And if there's other things you would like us to talk about, that you have interests or concerns about, whether it be parenting or with your family or work, whatever it is, please reach out, let us know, and we will make sure that we'll make a video about it.
We would absolutely love to, actually. So, once again, if you're seeing this on Facebook or on Instagram and you want to get our content as soon as it comes out or be a part of any live streams that we do, you're going to want to go over to our YouTube channel, Turning Leaf Health and Wellness, and subscribe and get our notifications there, because that's going to be our main hub moving forward for our content space. So, we love you. We hope to see you very, very soon. And good luck in your authenticity.
I'll get it.
Okay.
I'll turn it off. I see what's it.